Radha Damodara Ju ki jai. Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashatarashatashmar Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Śrīla Guru Deva ki jai. Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashatarashatashmar Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashatarashatashmar Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashatarashatashmar Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashatarashatashmar Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pavishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pavishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Pavishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Śrī Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Śrī Rupa Sanātana Pata Raghunath Śrī Jeev Gopal Pata Dashagunath Shāda Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Śrī Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Ramanandari Śrī Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Nama Chai Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadadhar Śrī Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Śrī Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Śrī Radha Kunna Shama Kunna ki jai. Śrī Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Śrī Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Śrī Bhakti Devi ki jai. Śrī Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai. Śrī Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Śrī Kartik Vṛt ki jai. Vṛt Palan Kari Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Urjeshwari Shivishabhanu Nandini Srimati Radha Thakurani ki jai. Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai. Śrī Satyavrat Muni ki jai. Śrīla Sanātana Goswami Par ki jai. Śrīla Gurudev ki jai. Śrī Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Śrī Vrajamandala Parikrama ki jai. Śrī Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Let me just see if it's sharing, because usually there's more than 2 people watching by now. It is, okay. Alright, Haribo. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Śrī Rūpam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Śrī Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Śrī Vishakam Vitangscha Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine Shri Krishna Lila Kathane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shirasa Namami Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Shri Keshava Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Vedanta Vamaniti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Acharya Singharupine Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Iti Namine Atimartya Charitraya Svashritanam Chapaline jiva dukhe sadartaya Śrī nama premadayine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati iti namine. Śrī Varshabhanavi Devi Daitai Kripabdhai Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Namaha. Madhuryo Jala Premadhya Śrī Rupanuga Bhaktida Śrī Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute. Namaste Gauravani Śrī Murtai Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine. Namo Gaura Kishoraya Shakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambhode Padam Pujayate Namaha. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanuga Varayate. Gauravirbhava Bhumestam Nirdeshta Sajana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannatayate Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadahmayam Tadati Swapadantikam. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nityananda Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayine Kalo Kalmasha Nashaya Janavapataye Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jatang Surato Pangor Mama Manda Matergati Matsarva Swapadam Pujo Radhamadana Mohana. Devyad Vrindaranya Kalpatrumadra Śrīmad Ratnagara Singhasanasto Śrīmad Radha Śrīla Govinda Devo Preshtalabhi Sevamano Smarami. Śrīman Rasarasarambhi Vaṅśhivata Tatastitaha Karshan Venu Swaner Gopir Gopinata Shrestuna. Anga Shamalima Chata Birabito Mandi Kritendi Varam Jadyam Jagururocisham Vidadatam Patam Parasya Shriya. Vrindaranya Vilasinam Hridilasa Dāmodarāṣṭakam Radha Skanda Niveshito Jvalabhujam Dhyaye Damodaram. Vrindaye Tulsi Devai Priyaye Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradedevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Davanala sama sangsara-dahane Dagda jiva kula udara-karane Karuna-varida kripa-varidani bandi Guna-sindhu gurur-charana-kamala Nritta-gita-vadya Shri Hari Kirtane Rahe Namagana Mahamata-mane Romanchakam Pashuhaya Gora Preme Vandishe Guru Charana Kamala Sadarata-jini Vigraha Sevane Shingara-di Ar Mandira Marjane Anugata jane Vandishe Guru Charana Kamala Charvachushaleya Peyara Samoy Prasadana Krishna Rati Svadoy Bhakta Yashvadane Neja Triptaroy Vandishe Guru Charana Kamala Śrī Madhava Namarupa Gune Ananta Madhurya Lila Ashwadane Lubda Chitta Jini Ana Pratekshane O Vandishe Guru Charana Kamala Vraja Yuva Dvanda Rati Sambardhane Yukti Kare Saki Gane Vrindavane Ati Dakshata He Priyatama Gane Vandishe Guru Charana Kamala Sarva Shastre Gai Shri Hari Swarupa Bhakta Gana Bhaveshe Rupa Kintu Jini Prabhu Priyatama Rupa Vandishe Guru Charana Kamala Jahara Prasade Krishna Ki Papai Jara Prasade Anyagati Nai Trisandha Kirti Rastavadhane Bhai Vandishe Guru Charana Kamala Guru Deva-shtaka Ati Jatna Kori Brahma Muhurte Pore Ucha Kori Vrindavana Nath Shakshat Shri Hari Seva Paishe Vastu Siddhikale Vandishe Guru Charana Kamala Vandishe Guru Charana Kamala Guru Deva Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Krishna hoite chaturmukha. One second, did it freeze? I don't know. Krishna hoite chaturmukha, hoy Krishna sevonmukha. Brahma hoite naradera mati, narada hoite vyasa, madhva kohe vyasa dasa. Puna pragya parmana bhagati Rihari madhava vanshe yakshavya paramahanse Shishya boli angikara kore Akshavera shishya jaya tirtha name parichaya Tarada se jnana sindhu tare Taha hoite daya nidhi Tarada sabidya nidhi যেন্দ্র হইল তাহা হইতে তাহারা কিঙ্কর যায় ধর্ম নামে পরিচয় পরম্পরা জন ভালো মতে জয় ধর্ম দাস্য খ্যাতি শ্রী পুরুষোত্তম জাতি তা হইতে ব্রহ্মণ্য তীর্থ সূরি व्यास तीर्थ तार दास लक्ष्मी पति व्यास दास ताहा होइते मारवेंद्र पुरी वर शिष्य वर शीश्वर नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत विभो ईश्वर पुरी के धन्य कोरिलें श्री चैतन्य जगर गुरु गौरव महाप्रभु श्री चैतन्य राधा कृष्ण नाही अन्य रूपानुग जानेर जीवन विश्वाम्भर प्रियंकर श्री स्वरूप दामोदर श्री गोस्वामी रूप सनातन रूप प्रिय महाजन जीव रघुनाथ तार प्रिय कवि कृष्णदास प्रिय वर नरोत्तम सेवकर जार पर विश्वनाथ आशा विश्वनाथ भक्त सात बलदेव जगन्नाथ तार प्रिय श्री भक्ति विनोद महाभगवत वर श्री गौर किशोर वर हरि भजने ते जार मोर शिव श्रवणाभिवर सदा सेव वर ताहर दयित दास नाम प्रभु पार अंतरंग श्री स्वरूप रूपनुग श्री केशव भक्ति प्रज्ञान गौरिया वेदांत वेता माया वरता मोहंत गौरवाणी प्रचाराचार धाम प्रचारिल गौरवाणी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी पुराइल प्रभुपादेर काम केशव प्रिय महाजन वामन नारायण हाथ गौरवाणी तादे प्राण धान ए सब हरिजन गौरांगेर निज जान तादेर उचिष्टे मोर काम गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा परंपरा गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा 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 गुरु परंपरा वृंदावन वासी जत वैष्णवेर गान प्रथमे वंदन करि सभार चरण नीलाचल वासी जत महाप्रभु गान भूमिते पड़िया बंद सभार चरण नवद्वीप वासी जत महाप्रभुर भक्त सभार चरण बंद होया अनुरक्त महाप्रभुर भक्त जत गौर देशे स्थिति सभार चरण बंद करिया प्रणाति जे देशे वैशे गौरांगेर गान ऊर्ध्व बाहु करि बंद सभार चरण होयाचेन होइबेन प्रभुर जत दास সবার চরণ বন্দন দন্তে করি ঘাসা ব্রহ্মাণ্ড তরিতে শক্তি ধরে জানে জানে এ বেদ পুরাণে গুণ গায় যে বসুনে মহাপ্রভুর গান সব পতিত পাবন তাই লোভে মই পাপি লয়ন শরণ বন্দন করিতে সাই ও বন্দন করিতে মই কত শক্তি ধরি তম বুদ্ধি দোষে মই দম্ভ মাত্র করি তথাপি মুখের ভাগ্য মনের উল্লাস দোষ স্বামী মোধমে করণে যদাস সর্ববংশ সিদ্ধি হয় জমা বন্ধ ছুটে জগতে দুর্লভ হইয়া প্রেম ধন লুটে মনের অবসান পূর্ণ অচিরাতে হয় দেবা কি নন্দন দাস এলো বেকয়া জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর শ্রী কৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ শ্রী অদ্বৈতা গদাধর শিবসাদি ও গৌর ভক্তবৃন্দ শ্রী কৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য প্রভু জীবে দয়া করি সপসর শ্রিয়া ধাম সহায়াবতারি অত্যন্ত দুর্লভ প্রেম করিবারে দান শিখায় শরণাগতি ভক্তের প্রাণ কন্যায়াত্মা নিবেদন গোত্রিতে বরান অবসর শিবে কৃষ্ণ विश्वास पालना भक्ति अनुकूल मात्र करेर स्वीकार भक्ति प्रतिकूल भाव वर्जनांगीकार षडंग शरणागति होइबे जहारा ताहर प्रार्थना सुने श्रीनंद कुमार रूप सनातन पदे दंते तृण कोरी भक्ति विनोर पड़े दोह पद धोरी कांदिया कांदिया बोले আমি তোয়া ধাম শিখায়ে শরণাগতি করহে উত্তম কান্দিয়া কান্দিয়া বলে আমি তোয়া ধাম শিখায়ে শরণাগতি করহে উত্তম জয় সপসরা জয় কোরা হরি सपशरा जय गौर हरि जय रूप सनातन रूप सनातन जय रूप सनातन कृष्णोत्कीर्तन गान नर्तन परो प्रेमामृतां भो निधि धीर धीर जना प्रिय प्रिय करो निर्मल सरो पूजित श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरो भुवि भुवो भरा वहंतारको वंदे रूप सनातन रघुयगो श्री जीव गोपालको नाना शास्त्र विचारनायक निपुनो सधर्म संस्थापको लोकानां हितकारिणो त्रिभुवने मान्यो शरण्याकरो राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजनानन्देन मत्तालिको वन्दे रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको श्री गौरांग गुणानुवर्णनविधो सदा समृतान्वितो पापतापनिकृन्तनो तनुभृता गोविन्दगानामृताय अयानन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनैक निपुनो कैवल्यनिस्तारको वन्दे रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको त्यक्त्वा दुर्नमशेषमण्डलपते श्रेणीं सदा तुच्छवात् भूत्वा दीनगणेशको करुणाया गोपेन कान्ताश्रितो गोपी भावरसामृताब्धि लहरी कलोलमग्नो मुहुः वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको कुजत कोकिल हंससारसगना कीर्णे मयूराकुले नानारत्ननिबद्धमूलविटपा श्रीयुक्तवृन्दावने राधा कृष्ण महर्निशं प्रभजतो जीवार्ततो यो मुदा वन्दे रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको संख्यापूर्वक नाम गाननतिभिः कालावसाने कृतो निद्राहार विहारकादिविजतो चात्यन्तदीनो चयो राधा कृष्ण गुणस्मृतिर्मधुरिमानन्देन समोहितो वन्दे रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको राधा कुण्डतटे कलिन्दतनया तीरे च वंशीवटे प्रेन्मोन्मारवशारशेषदशया ग्रस्तो प्रमत्तो सदा अगायन्तो च कदा हरिर्गुणवरं भावभिभूतो मुदा वन्दे रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको हे राधे व्रज देविके चललिते हे नन्द सुनो कुता श्री गोवर्धन कल्पपदपतले कालिन्दिवने कुता गोशान्ताव इति सर्वतो व्रजपुरे केदार महाविवलो वन्दे रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको जय रूप सनातन रूप सनातन रूप सनातन जय रूप सनातन जय रूप रघुनाथ जय रूप रघुनाथ भट्ट रूप रघुनाथ dasa rupa raghunath jaya Śrī Jiva Gopala Bhatta Śrī Jiva Gopal Śrī Jiva Gopala Bhatta Śrī Jiva Gopal Vrindavane viharato riha keli kunje Mata dipa pravara kautuka vibramena Sandarshayasya yuvayo vadanaravinda Dvandvam videhi mai devi kripam prasidha Aha devi kakubara gadgadaya davacha Ayachene patta bhuvidanda varurvatati Ayasya prasadamabudasya janasya pitva Gandharvikene jagane kananam videhi Ashame rama ramana sundarata varishta Asundarya mohita samasta jagajanasya Shamasya vama bhuja padatano gataha Tvamendira virala rupa bharam bhajami Tam prachadena mudira chavina pidaya Amanjira mukta charanam chavidhaya devi Akunje vrajendra tanayena virajamane Naktam kada pramuditam abhisarayeshe Akunje prasuna kula kalpita kelitalpe Samveshtayor madhuranarma vilasa bhajo Lokatraya paranayoshcharanam bhujani Sambhahayeshyati kada yuvayor janoyam Atvat kundarodhasi vilasa parishramena Asritam bhuchumbi vadanam buruhashiyovam Vrindavaneshwari kada tarumola bhajo Sambhijayami chamari chaya chamarena Linam nikunja kuhare bhavate mukunde Chitraiva suchitavate ruchirakshinaha Bhognam phruvam narachayeti vrisham vrisham tvam Agre vrajendra tanayasya kadanuneshe Bhagyutta kelit kutuke vrajaraja sunam Jitva madamatika vikasi jalpam Phula virale viranalpamudiryamanam Stotram kadanubhavate mavalokayeshe Yakopi shushtu vrisha bhanukumarikaya Samprarthanāṣṭakam idaṁ patate prapanna Sa preyasa sahasamekta drita pramora Tatra prasada lahari murari koroti Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Śrī Radhe Jaya Vrishabhanunandini Radhe Radhe Vrishabhanunandini Radhe Radhe Radha Mukunda Parasambhava Karma Bindu Nirmanchanopakarane Krita Deha Lakṣam Utunga Sohrita Vishesha Vashat Pragalbha Devim Gunaisu Lalitam Lalitam Namami Raka Sudha Kirana Mandala Kanti Dandi Vakrashriyam Chakita Charu Chamuru Netram Radha Prasadhana Vidhana Kala Prasidham Devim Gunaisu Lalitam Lalitam Namami alasolasarbhujaga shatrupatatra chetra patam shukhabharanakanchulikanchitangim gorochana ruchi vigharana gorimana devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami dhurte vrajendra tanayetanu shuštuvamyam matakshina bhavakalankini lakhavaya radhe giram shinohitamiti shikshayantim devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami radham abhivrajapate kritamatmajena kutamana kapivilakya vilohitakshim vagvanghi vishtamachirena vilajayantim devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami vatsalya vrindavasatim pashupalaragya sakyanushiksana kalasu gurum sakhina radha balavaraja jivitanirvishesham devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami ayam kamapi rajakule vishabhanujaya priksha sapaksha padavemanuruttyamanam sadastarishta gatanena kritartayante devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami radha vrajendra sutta sangamarangacharyaam varyam vinishchitavatim akhilotsavebhya tam gokula priya sakhi nikuramba mukhyam devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami nandana muni nandana muni lalita guna lalitani padani apatati nirmala drishtirashto prita vikarshati janang nija vrindamadhe tankirtida patikula jalakalpavali devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namani devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami ajaya lalita devi lalita devi lalita devi jaya lalita devi jaya lalita devi jaya lalita devi lalita devi jaya lalita devi Bhrakturantakasya patane vipatiharini prekshayati papino pipapasindutarini niramadhuri virapashesha cheta bandhini mampunatu sarvadara vindabandhu nandini hari vari dharaya bimanditoru kandava pundarika mandalo dadanda jali dandava snanakama pamarogra papa samparandini mampunatu sarvadara vindabandhu nandini shikara primrishcha jantu durvipakamarvini nandanandanantaranga bhakti puravardini tirasangamaabhilashi mangalanubandhini mampunatu sarvadara vindabandhu nandini dvipachakravāla jushta sapta sindhu bhedini Śrī Mukunda nirmitoru devya keli vedini kanti kandale birendra nila vrinda nindini mampunatu sarvadara vinda bandhu nandini mathurena mandale Dordvilasa-parmanabha-paravandini Mam punatu sarvadāravindabandhunandini Ramyatira-rambamana-kokadamba-bhushita Divyagandha-bhakadamba Pushparajirushita Nanda-suno bhakta-sanga Sangamabhinandini Omam punatu sarvadāravindabandhunandini Kula-paksha-malikaksha-hamsa-laksha-pujita Bhakti-vitta-deva-siddha-kenarali-pujita Tira-gandha-vaha-gandha-janma-bandharandhini Mam punatu sarvadāravindabandhunandini Chirvilasa-varipura-bhurvuvasa-apini Kirtitapi-durmudoru-papamarmatapini Palavendra-nandana-garagabanga-gandhini Mam punatu sarvadāravindabandhunandini Tushta-buddhi-raṣṭakena nirmalormi-cheshtitam Tamanena bhanuputri sarvadeva-veshtitam Yastavitti-vardayasa sarva-papa-mochane Bhakti-puram asya devi pundarika-lochane Mam punatu sarvadāravindabandhunandini Mam punatu sarvadāravindabandhunandini Jaya Mune Jaya Jaya Mune Jaya Mune Jaya Jaya Mune Jaya Vishaka Devi Jaya Vishaka Devi Vishaka Devi Jaya Vishaka Devi Nijapati Bhuja Danda Chatra Bhavam Prapadya Pratihata Madadrishto Danda Devindra Garva Atula Pratula Shaila Shreni Bhupam Priyame Nijanikatani Vasam Dehi Govardhanatam Pramadamadana Lila Kandare Kandare Te Rachayati Navayunor Dandamasmin Amanda Iti Kila Kalanarta Lagna Kastatvayorme Nijanikatani Vasam Dehi Govardhanatam Anupamamani Vedi Ratna Singhasa-norvi Ruha-jara-darasano Droni Sange-shurangai Sahabala-saki-bisa Kelayan Swapriyame Nijanikatani-vasam Dehi Govardhanatam Rasaniti Navayunor Shakshinim Dana-kele Duti-parimala-vidham Shama Vedim Prakashya Rasika Varakulanam Modamasvalayan Me Nijanikatani Vasam Dehi Govardhanatam Haridaitam Apurvam Radhika Kundamatma Priya Sakamiha Kante Narmana Linga Gupta Navayuva Yuga Kelas Tatra Pashan Raho Me Nijanikatani Vasam Dehi Govardhanatam Stala Jala Dala Shashpar Guru Hashaya Yacha Pratipadamanupālam Hanta Sambardayanga Trijagati Nijagotra Sarthakyam Khyapayane Nijanikatani Vasam Dehi Govardhanatam Surapati Krita Dirga Drohato Goshta Raksham Tavanavagriha Rupa Syantare Kurvataiva Agabhakari Punochar Dattamana Drutame Nijanikatani Vasam Dehi Govardhanatam vṛtaṁ Giri-nrpa-haridasa Śrīnivaryetti nama vṛtaṁ-idaṁ uditam Śrī Radhika Vaktra-chandrat Vrajanavati lakatve Kliptam vedai sputam Mene jane-katani vasam Dehi govardhanatam Nija jana yuta-radha Krishna Maitri-rasakta Vrajanara Pashu-pakshi Vrata Sokaikadatta Aganita Karunatam Mamuri Krita Tantam Nijane-katani vasam Dehi govardhanatam Nirupari karunena Śrī Sachinandanena Tvaikapati-shatotpi Tvat-priyenarpitosmi Iti kalu mama yogya Yogyatam tamakrina Nijane-katani vasam Dehi govardhanatam Rasadadashakamasya Śrīla govardhanasya Kshitidharakula-bhartur Ya prayatnatadhite Sasapari sukadesmin Vasamasada shaksha Chubara yugala seva Ratnamapnoti turnam Nijane-katani vasam Dehi govardhanatam Nijane-katani vasam Dehi govardhanatam Jaya Giriraja Jaya Govardhana Giriraja Jaya Govardhana Jaya Govardhana Jaya Vrindavana Govardhana Jaya Vrindavana Jaya Radha Kunda Jaya Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Jaya Shama Kunda Ha Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Manamanasa Madhukaram Arpaya Nijapada Pankajamaka Rande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Ha Krishna Deva Bhavantam Yadapi samadhishu vidhirapi pashyati natavana kagramaricim idami chamine shamatavachotarapi kriparbhuta vikshim Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Bhakti-rudan chati yadapi madhava natai mamatila matri Parameshvara tatarabhita vadika dhurghata ghatana vidhatri Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Ayamavilolata Yadya Sanātana Kalitar-bhutarasabhara Nevasatu netrami amritanendini Vindana madhurima Saram Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Damodarāṣṭakam Varadhanave Shehari Nishkuta Vrindavipi Neshe Vrishabha भानुदादे नवशासि लेके लालिता सके गुणा रामिता विशाखे जय राधे जय जय माधव दायिते करुणा गुरुमयि करुणा भरिते सनातन ओ वर्णित चरिते ओ करुणा गुरुमयि ओ करुणा भरिते सनातन ओ वर्णित चरिते श्रीरूप सनातन ओ वर्णित चरिते जय राधे जय जय माधव दायिते जय राधे जय जय माधव दायिते सुचारुवक्त्र मण्डलं सुकर्णरत्नकुण्डलं सुचर्चिताङ्गचन्दनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं सुदीर्घनेत्रपङ्कजं शिखिशिकान्तमूर्तजामनाङ्गकोटिमोहनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं सुनासिकाग्रमौक्तिकं स्वच्छन्ददन्तपङ्क्तिकं नवाम्बुदाङ्गचेकनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं करेण वेणुरञ्जिताङ्गति करेन्द्रगञ्जितां दुकुलपीतशोभनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं त्रिभङ्गदेहसुन्दरं नखद्युते सुधाकरम् अमूल्यरत्नभूषणं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं सुगन्धयाङ्ग सौरभमुरविराजिकौस्तुभं स्फुरवच्छ्रीवत्सलाञ्छनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं वृन्दावनसुनगरं विलासनुगवाससं सुरेन्द्रगर्वमोचनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं प्रजाङ्गना सुनायकं सदा सुखप्रदायकं जगन्मना प्रलोभनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं श्रीनन्दनन्दनाष्टकं पठेद्यशोदयान्वित तरेर्भवद्दिं दुस्तरं लभेत्तरं क्रियुग्मकं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं मुनीन्द्रवृन्दवन्दिते त्रिलोकशोकहारिणि प्रसन्नवक्त्रपङ्कजे निकुञ्जभूविलासिनि व्रजेन्द्रभानुनन्दिनि व्रजेन्द्रसूनुसङ्गते कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अशोकवृक्षवल्लरि पितानमण्डपस्थिते प्रवालवलपल्लव प्रभारुणाङ्घ्रिकोमले पराभयस्फुरत्करे प्रभुत्वसम्पदालये कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अनङ्गरङ्गमङ्गलप्रसङ्ग भङ्गुरभ्रुवं सविभ्रमं ससम्भ्रमं त्रिगान्तबाणपातनै निरन्तरं वशीकृतप्रतीति नन्दनन्दने kada karishyasi hamam kripa kataksha bhajanam tarit suvarna champaka pradipta gaurave grahe mukha prabha parastakoti sharadendu mandale vichitra chitra sanchara chakora shavalochane kada karishyasi hamam kripa kataksha bhajanam madonmadati yovane pramoramana mandite priyanuragaranjite kalavilasa pandite ananya dhanya kunjaraja kama keli kovide kada karishyasi hamam kripa kataksha bhajana ashesha hava bhavadira hirahara bhushite prabhuta shata kumbha kumbha kumbi kumbha sustani prashasta manda hasachurna purna sokya sagare kada karishyasi hamam kripa kataksha bhajanam mrinala valla vallari taranga ranga dolate latagra lasya lola nila lochana valokane lala lulan milan manogya mugda mohanashite kada karishyasi hamam kripa kataksha bhajanam suvarna malikanchita trirekha kambu kanthage trisutra mangali guna triratna dipti dithiti salola nila kuntala prasuna kucha gumphite kada karishyasi hamam kripa kataksha bhajanam nitamba bimba-lambhamana pushpamekhala gune prashasta radhna kinkini kalapa madhya manjule karendra shunda dandika varoha savagauruke kada karishyasi hamam kripa kataksha bhajanam aneka mantra naramanju nupurara vaskalat samaja raja hamsa vangsha nikvanati gaurave vilola himavallari vidam vicharu chankrame kada karishyasi hamam kripa kataksha bhajanam ananta koti vishnu loka namra parma jarchite himatrija pulo maja virincha javara prade apara siddhi riddhi digda satpadanguli nakhe kada karishyasi hamam kripa kataksha bhajanam makeshwari kriyeshwari sareshwari sureshwari trivera bharateshwari pramana shashaneshwari rameshwari kshameshwari pramora kananeshwari brajeshwari brajadipeshi radhike namostute iti marmarbutam stavam nishamya panunandini karotu santatam janam kripa kataksha bhajanam bhaveta daiva sanchita trirupa karmanashanam bhaveta da vrajendra sunu mandala praveshanam kada karishyasi hamam kripa kataksha bhajanam. Namamishvara Sachiranandarupam Alasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yaśodā biyo lokādhava manam oparamrishtam attainments tato druta gopyā nama Sachidananda-rūpa lasat-kuntalaiḥ gokule brajamana arodantam muhuś netrayugmamrijantam karamphojayugmena asatanka Sakampa trirekhanka kantha stita graivatamo daram bhakti padam anamameshvara sachidananda-rūpa ite drik-swali-labhaiḥ ayanandam kunde saghosha nimanjantam avyakta tadiyeshitarkeshu bhaktirjitatvam punah prematastam shatavritti vande namameshvara sachidananda-rūpam lasat-kuntalaiḥ gokule brajamanam varam Deva moksham namoksha dingva nachanyam vreneham varesharapiha idaṁ Deva purnata gopālabalam sada me manasy āvirāstām Sachidananda-rūpa lasat-kuntalaiḥ gokule brajamana idaṁ te mukhāmbhojam avyakta nīlair vṛtaṁ kuntalaiḥ snigdha raktaiś gopyā muhuś cumbitaṁ bimba-raktādharaṁ manasy āvirāstām alaṁ lakṣa-lābhaiḥ sachidananda-rūpam lasat-kuntalaiḥ gokule brajamana nama Deva Dāmodarāṣṭa Vishnu prasiddha prabhu dukkha ajala vimagnam kripa drishti vrishyate dinam patanu grihane shama agyame dakshidrisha anamameshvaram sachidananda-rūpam lasat-kuntalaiḥ gokule brajamana kuveratmajo bata murtaiva yarvat tvayamachita bhakti bhajakrita cha tatha prema bhaktim sakame prayacha onamokshe graho mestidam satmandala gokule bhajamanam. Namastestu dhamne spuradhiti dhamne tvadiyodārāyata vishvasadhamne namo radhikāya tadiyapriyāya o namo radhikāya tadiyapriyāya namo nandalilāy devaya tu namo radhikāya tadiyapriyāya o namo radhikāya tadiyapriyāya namo radhikāya tadiyapriyāya namo radhikāya tadiyapriyāya namo nandalilāy devaya tu namo nandalilāy devaya Radha Damodara 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 Radha Damodara Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Giridhari Shri Radha Vinod Vihari Ju ki jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai Nitya Pavishra Vishnupā Rashata Rashata Shmar Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Śrīla Guru Deva ki jai Nitya Pavishra Vishnupā Rashata Rashata Shmar Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai Nitya Pavishra Vishnupā Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai Nitya Pavishra Vishnupā Rashata Rashata Shmar Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai Nitya Pavishra Vishnupā Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai Nitya Pavishra Mahabhagavat Śrīla Gokṣaras Babaji Maharaj ki jai Nitya Pavishra Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai Nitya Pavishra Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai Shri Rupa Sanātana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Sharda Gosai Prabhu ki jai Shri Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai Nama Chai Shri āvirāstām ki jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaur Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai Sarva Abhishta Bharata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund ki jai Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai Shri Satyavrat Muni ki jai Śrīla Sanātana Goswami Par ki jai Śrīla Gurudev ki jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Where is it? There it is. Alright, so we're continuing on with our Dāmodarāṣṭakam readings. We're reading from verse 5. Idaṁ te mukhāmbhojam avyakta nīlair Gopyascha gopyā muhuś cumbitaṁ bimba-raktādharaṁ manasy avyakta alaṁ lakṣa-lābhaiḥ. Idaṁ, this supremely charming, te, your, mukhāmbhojam, lotus face, avyakta nīlair, very dark blue, vṛtaṁ, encircled, kuntalaiḥ, by curls of hair, snigdha, soft, raktaiś, reddened, cha, and gopyā, by Śrī Yaśodā gopī. Muhuś, repeatedly, cumbitaṁ, kissed, bimba-raktādharaṁ, red like bimba-fruit, adharam, lips, my, manasy, in the mind, or the heart which has been purified by vishuddha sattva. Āvirāstām, may that face manifest. Alaṁ, I have no use for. Lakṣa-lābhaiḥ, millions of other attainments. Translation. O Deva, your lotus-like face, encircled by soft blackish-blue curling locks of hair that have a reddish glow, is repeatedly kissed by the gopī Śrī Yaśodā. May your supremely charming lotus face, with lips like red bimba-fruit, always remain manifest in my heart. I do not care about millions of other attainments. So now we're going to read from the Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā by Śrīla Sanātana Goswami Pada, my greatest Bhavanuvada of it. In the previous verse, Śrī Satyavrat Muni prayed for Shri Krishna's whole form as Bala Gopal in Vrindavan to forever manifest in his heart. In this verse he prays, among all the limbs of your worshipful form, Shri Vigraha, I especially yearn to behold your supremely enchanting lotus face. Śrī Satyavrat Muni speaks this verse beginning with idaṁ te in order to convey his desire to Śrī Bhagavan. Once in his meditation, Śrī Satyavrat Muni had a momentary glimpse, or spurti, of the indescribable beauty of his worshipful Lord's lotus face. Now he expresses his experience in words by saying, mukhāmbhojam, your face is just like a lotus flower. In fact, your face is the original source of the beauty found in the fully bloomed lotus flower. It soothes all suffering and it is permeated by the sweet nectar of supreme bliss. Then he prays, Me manasy muhuś āvirāstām. May that lotus face manifest within my heart again and again. What is Shri Krishna's lotus face like? Śrī Satyavrat Muni continues, your lotus face is encircled by curls of extremely black, soft hair that have a reddish luster. The word vṛtaṁ suggests, those curly locks seem like bumblebees around the lotus flower of your face. He continues, your lotus face is kissed again and again by a gopī. The gopī mentioned here can be conceived of as either Śrī Yaśodā or Śrī Radha. Although the word muhuś, again and again, can be applied to me manasy avyakta as before, it can also be applied here to gopyā. Thus, it can be used twice. Once regarding the gopis' kisses, gopyā muhuś cumbitaṁ, and once regarding the sage's visions of Shri Krishna's lotus face, me manasy muhuś avyarastam. Also, if we restrict the use of muhuś to gopyā based on its position within the verse, then a third sense is derived. Your lotus face is kissed again and again by an extremely fortunate Śrī Yaśodā, or by a Śrī Radha Gopī. May that lotus face manifest in my heart, even if I can only see it one time. Alternatively, the phrase me manasy āvirāstām is a partial repetition of the phrase sada me manasy āvirāstām from the previous verse. Therefore, the word sada, always, can also be applied here to derive the meaning. May the vision of your lotus face being kissed again and again by Śrī Yaśodā or by Śrī Radha remain manifest in my heart forever. Śrī Satyavrat describes another beautiful feature of Śrī Krishna's lotus face with the words bimba-raktādharaṁ. May your lotus face, with lips like red bimba-fruit, remain visible in my heart forever. Then my life will be successful. He ends the verse with lakṣa-lābhaiḥ. Besides this, millions and millions of other attainments are of no importance to me. The reconciliation of Śrī Satyavrat Muni's rejection of millions of other attainments is the same as the one presented in the previous verse. Thus ends the English rendition of the Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā of the 5th verse. Now we begin the Dig-darśinī-vṛtti of my Śrīla Gurudev, my Gurudev's supplemental commentary on Śrīla Sanātana Goswami's commentary. In the previous verse, it was as though Śrī Bhagavan had become pleased by Śrī Satyavrat Muni's devotional sentiments and said, "O sage, I am satisfied with you. Ask a benediction for me." In response, Śrī Satyavrat Muni prayed, "O Prabhu, O Master of all those who grant benedictions, you are the most exalted. There is no limit to the blessings you can grant. But, my dear Lord, none of those boons are any use to me." In the previous verse, Śrī Satyavrat Muni prays, idaṁ te mukhāmbhojam. Sorry, I said previous, I meant to say in the present. In the present verse, Śrī Satyavrat Muni prays, idaṁ te mukhāmbhojam. All I want to see is your exquisitely beautiful lotus face in my heart again and again. He is remembering the indescribable beauty of Śrī Bhagavan's lotus face in his form as Bal Gopal. Śrī Satyavrat Muni only had a glimpse of that form within his heart, a spurti, during his meditation. What was it like? At first, the sage uses the word avyakta. It is beyond the grasp of the material mind or material words. Further reflecting on what he saw in his spurti, he says, his lotus face is encircled, vṛtaṁ, by dark black curls of hair, which have a soft red glow that makes them look like bumblebees. Mother Yaśodā and the gopis kissed that lotus face again and again. In the previous verse, Śrī Satyavrat Muni prayed to see Śrī Krishna's Bal Gopal form within his heart. But now, he is praying specifically to see his beautiful lotus face, which he yearns to kiss. He wants to see it, not just within his heart, with his eyes. He wonders, if I want to achieve something so rare, will this hope of mine ever be fulfilled? The present verse marks an escalation. The present verse marks an escalation of the intense longing developing within Śrī Satyavrat Muni's heart. At first, by the power of sadhu sangha, an inclination to serve Śrī Krishna enters the heart. When one's anarthas are gradually driven away by performing bhajan and sadhu sangha, the inclination to serve Śrī Krishna will continue to increase, and one's consciousness will blossom more and more through the progressive stages of love of God, beginning from nishtha, then through ruchi, asakti, and bhav, and finally prem. However, a profound concept must be considered regarding each soul's ultimate development of love for Krishna. If the intrinsic and internal inclination of a particular soul is to dedicate himself to Śrī Bhagavan in the mood of a servant, dasyaras, then his deepest inner hankerings will only be fulfilled by that mode of service. His service tendency will never proceed beyond dasyaras. Actually, I just read, a few days ago, I read an article by Śrīla Goswami Maharaj where he gives this point very clearly. And it's in relation to Gopakumar. It's a very good article. I mean, very strong and clear, and And just today, actually, there's going to be a podcast where this is going to be contended. What Srila Śrī Goswami is saying, what my Gurudev is saying, what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. And anyways, I shouldn't get into that now. But anyways, Śrī Satyavrat Muni's prayers reveal that his mood is destined to develop beyond dasaras. And that is why this verse expresses increasing longing within his heart. We can understand his situation by considering the history of Gopakumar. Even when Gopakumar had attained residence in Vaikuntha, his inner hankering was not satisfied. It was not even satisfied when he reached Ayodhya or Dwarka within Vaikuntha. Finally, he reached Goloka Vrindavan, and when he experienced loving exchanges with Krishna and the mood of friendship, Sakyabhav, all his desires were at last fulfilled. His mood never went any further. Similarly, Śrī Satyavrat Muni's longing is advancing through progressive levels of bhakti. Each sadhak will relish the sweetness of Sri Krishna's pastimes according to his own relationship, his own sambandha with him, and also according to his qualification, his adhikar. Thus, in the description of Sri Krishna's lotus face being kissed again and again, Srila Sanātana Goswami explains the word gopyā. He explains that the word gopyā can refer to either Mother Yasoda or Sri Radhika. The phenomenon of relishing Sri Krishna's pastimes according to one's own mood is illustrated in the following example. Once, upon seeing scratch marks on her son's limbs, Mother Yasoda exclaimed, "Oh, where did all these scratches come from?" Kundalata, who was standing nearby, heard this and commented, "Your son performs ras at night. These marks are from that." My God, she just spilled the beans. Ras Lila is the prominent pastime in Madhurya Ras, conjugal love. So how could Mother Yasoda be privy to this amorous pastime? The answer is that Mother Yasoda was simply inquiring like an ordinary mother who is worried about the scratches on her son. Still, she is not necessarily unaware that her son is in fact performing Ras Lila. But Salya Ras assists and nourishes Madhurya Ras. Nevertheless, as soon as Mother Yasoda heard Kundalata's reply, she at once said, "My darling boy is still breastfeeding. He does not even have his milk teeth. He can barely speak. He just talks in broken childish language. But you are saying that he engages in amorous affairs at night? My dear young lady, you do not know. I will tell you how he got these marks. When he takes the cows into the forest to graze, he loses himself in play with the other boys. Sometimes, while chasing stray calves, he runs through thorny bushes. He is so absorbed in playing at such times that he is not even aware that he is being scratched. That is where these marks came from." The devotee will hanker for a particular ras according to his own eternal mood. Srila Sanātana Goswami presents Śrī Satyavrat Muni as a perfect example of this. According to his own mood, Śrī Satyavrat Muni is trying to awaken within his own heart the bhav of one of Sri Krishna's eternal ragatmika jan by performing sadhan bhajan under their guidance. Following in the footsteps of Śrī Satyavrat Muni, a sadhak should think, if earrings which are only gold can kiss the cheeks of Sri Krishna, then why can't I? Certainly, I will also do this. With this yearning, he should endeavor to attain his goal with the conviction that he does not need any other benediction. Such endeavor is called abhideya. When he at last attains his own eternal constitutional mood of service in one of the 5 rasas, then he will attain the ultimate goal, the stage of prayojan. Whose prem is stronger? Mother Yasoda's prem for her darling son? Mother Yasoda's prem for her darling son is certainly stronger than his prem for her. Her prem can control Krishna and bind him. If any devotee hears the pastimes of Mother Yasoda binding Krishna with her prem and of her kissing his lotus face again and again, a longing will enter his heart. If I follow in the footsteps of Mother Yasoda, perhaps I will also be able to kiss the lotus face of her darling boy. But who kisses Sri Krishna's face the most? More than anyone else, Srimati Radhika drinks the nectar of Shri Krishna's lotus face by kissing it again and again. At the beginning of this Ashtakam, Śrī Satyavrat Muni, who is praying in the mood of Śrī Satyavrat Muni was praying in the mood of Dasya Ras. Now, in this verse, his prayers are imbued with the desire to enter the mood of Vatsalya Ras. May that supremely charming lotus face, which is kissed again and again by Mother Yasoda, manifest within my heart forever. In the same way, every sadhak will initially consider himself to be a servant of Shri Krishna in a general sense. However, by performing intimate service and by acquiring Shri Bhagavan's mercy, he will gradually progress, and a deep longing to perform service under the guidance of one of Shri Krishna's eternal associates, Anugatya Mai Seva, will begin to manifest within his heart. Just like the omniscient Supersoul present within the core of everyone's heart, the Guru has a special characteristic of perfectly knowing our heart. He knows the eternal constitutional mood of our soul, our eternal relationship with Bhagavan, and accordingly, he connects us with him. And this is going to be contended just today. Then, by supplying the water of hearing, chanting, and remembering, he nourishes that relationship and cuts down anything that obstructs that nourishment with the sharp axe of his words. He does this so expertly that the sadhak barely notices, but all the while the needful is accomplished. That's the mercy of Shri Guru. He does this so expertly that the sadhak barely notices, but all the while the needful is accomplished. This is what the bona fide Guru and genuine Vaishnavas do. They do not have bodies of flesh and bone which are subject to change and which may die at any moment. They are the eternal associates of the most merciful incarnation of Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who descended to deliver the fallen souls in this age of Kali. They are the eternal associates of the most merciful incarnation of Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who delivered. Guru and Vaishnavas are among the intimate companions of the divine couple, Shri Radha Krishna. The way Shri Bhagavan extends his loving mercy to the souls bound by Maya is by sending associates like these in the form of Vaishnavas. Let me reread that. The way Shri Bhagavan extends his loving mercy to the souls bound by Maya is by sending associates like these in the form of the Vaishnavas. Shri Krishna's lips have been compared to red bimba fruits, bimba-raktādharaṁ. Although ripened bimba fruit is extremely soft and beautiful, in reality, it is far excelled by the softness and beauty of Shri Krishna's lips. Still, even though Shri Krishna's lips are so beautiful, he constantly hankers to drink the nectar of the lips of his beloved gopis. Then what must their lips be like? The most clear example of how Shri Krishna hankers to drink the nectar of the gopis' lips is found in Bhramar Gita and the conversation between Srimati Radhika and a bumblebee. Sakre dadara sudham swam mohinim payitva sumanasa iva sadyas tatyajesman bhavadrik paricharati katang tat pada parmanu parma hyapi bata hrita cheta hyuttama shloka jalpai. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47-13. Just as you abandon a flower after drinking its honey, Shri Krishna completely bewildered us by making us drink the nectar of his lips only once, and then suddenly abandon us. Why does goddess Padma, Lakshmi Devi, who herself is just like a lotus flower, serve his lotus feet? It seems that her mind has certainly been stolen by his cunning words. However, we are not naive like Lakshmi Devi. Srimati Radhika spoke these words to the bumblebee in intense separation from Krishna. "O bumblebee, messenger of Krishna," she said, "your master knew that when he would leave us in the future to go to Mathura and elsewhere, we, the young damsels of Vraj, would die from being separated from him. He likes to see us writhing in the pain of separation so much that he forcefully made us drink the nectar of his lips just once for only a few moments. He knew that death cannot come to anyone who drinks that nectar, and he knew that later, unable to die from the pain of separation, we would simply writhe in agony. Shri Krishna's eyes, his eyebrows, his smile, and his lips are the sharp arrows of Cupid. Once someone has seen them, he will remain wounded forever. Devotees who cultivate raganuga bhakti following in the wake of ragatmika bhakti, or who are rupanuga, who are followers of Srila Rupa Goswami, remember all these moods of Srimati Radhika and separation as they perform sadhan, and thus lose all awareness of their bodies, their homes, and so on. Shri Vrishabhanu Nandini continued to angrily lament to the bumblebee as she burns it in the blazing fire of separation. Yad anu charita lila karna piyusha viprut sakre dadana viduta dharma vinashta saparigriha kutumbam dinamutsrija dina bahava iha vihanga bhikshu charyam charanti. So I messed up on the first two lines. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47-18. O messenger, descriptions of your master's pastimes are exactly like nectar. If someone accepts even one drop of that nectar through his ears, even once, then his sense of obligation to worldly dualities is utterly ruined. Because of that nectar, many people have quit their homes and families, leaving them utterly miserable, only to become miserable themselves. They live as mendicant beggars wandering throughout these forests of Vraj, like birds without shelter. As if Shri Radhika heard the bumblebee ask for an example of this, she said, "We are the unavoidable proof that this is true. There is no need to look for any evidence anywhere else. There's no need to look for evidence anywhere else. Simply by hearing about his pastimes, we have become homeless." What becomes of such a miserable, homeless person? In Srimad Bhagavatam 11:240, it is described. Evaṁ vṛtaṁ priyanāma kirtā jatānurāgo drutta-cheta uchai hasattato roditi roti gāya tunmādhavan rittati lokabhaya. Saintly people who have firmly devoted themselves to serving Sri Bhagavan with deep love constantly engage in kirtan of the names of Sri Krishna they most love. When deep attachment, anurag, arises in them, their hearts thoroughly melt, and they become mad in love of God. They laugh and cry loudly. Agitated by love, they sing about their Lord in sweet voices, and just like madmen without a trace of shyness, they dance and sing, unaffected by the opinions of ordinary people. Even Shri Krishna's flute, a dry piece of bamboo, drives the three worlds mad when it is touched by the powerful nectar of Shri Krishna's lips. However, the gopis regard the flutes with spite as if it were their co-wife. Gopyā kimacharadayam kushalam smavenur Dāmodarāṣṭakam api gopikanam bhunkte swayam yadavashishtarasam hradinyo rishyat tvacho shumumuchastaravo yatarya. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:21-9. O dear Sakis, we cannot imagine what sort of sadhan and bhajan the flute must have performed in previous verse, that in our very presence it is drinking the nectar of Damodar's lips, which rightfully belongs to us alone. It is not even sparing a drop of that ras for us. On the pretext of their blossoming lotus flowers, the rivers, which have nourished the flute with their water, their ras, are exhibiting symptoms of ecstatic horripilation. The trees, who are the forefathers of the flute, are equal to the best of men. Seeing their descendant filled with such intense love for the Lord, they have become overjoyed, and tears of ecstasy are flowing from their eyes. The strength to attain these exalted feelings will enter our hearts by reciting the prayers of the exalted acharyas in our Guru Varga, headed by Śrī Rupa and Śrī Raghunath. Then, step by step, we will make progress on the path of bhakti. In Śrī Radhika Padme Vigyapti, Śrīla Rupa Goswami prays, Aradhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. O Radha, all glories to you, all glories to you, the most beloved of Madhav. You are the most celebrated among all the young damsels of Gokul. Dāmodarāṣṭakam vardhana veshe harinishkuta vrindavipineshe. The beautiful way you dress causes Śrī Damodar's attachment to you to swell. You are the presiding goddess of Śrī Hari's pleasure groves in the forests of Vrindavan. Vrishabhanudadi navashashileke lalita saki guna ramita vishake. From the milk ocean of Śrī Vrishabhanu Maharaja's affection, you have arisen like a beautiful young moon. O dear friend of Lalita, by your qualities of playfulness and friendship, you have enchanted the heart of your intimate Saki Vishaka. Karunam kurumai karuna bharite sanaka sanatana varnita charite. You are so full of mercy that great yogis and brahmacharis like Sanak Kumar and Sanātana Kumar are always engaged in describing your exalted nature. So please be merciful to me. Devika kubhara gargada yadavacha yache nipatya bhuvi danda varudbatarti asya prasadam abudasya janasya kritva gandharvikene jagane kananam videhi. Śrī Gandharva Sampartanashtakam 2. O Devi Gandharvika, I am suffering greatly. I have fallen at your feet, and I am lying on the ground in front of you just like a stick. With a choked voice, I am begging you, please be merciful to this fool and count me as one of your own. As we sing these verses, we should meditate on our Guru Varga and consider, it is you who are actually submitting these prayers. It is you who are singing them. Without your mercy, I will never be qualified to make such prayers. It is only by their mercy that we can follow in their footsteps and pray like this, and thus gradually attain loving service to the divine couple in Vraj. I put this quote in the Gaudiya Giti Gucha actually. So this is how we enter when we do kirtan. This is what we should be doing before we sing. Let me just read it one more time. As we sing these verses, we should meditate on our Guru Varga and consider, it is you who are actually submitting these prayers. It is you who are singing them. Without your mercy, I will never be qualified to make such prayers. It is only by their mercy that we can follow in their footsteps and pray like this, and thus gradually attain loving service to the divine couple in Vraj. There are two modes of meditation, mantra-maya upasana and swarasiki upasana. When one deliberately concentrates on remembering on one particular pastime while performing bhajan, it is called mantra-maya upasana. But when Śrī Bhagavan's pastimes are manifest in one's heart spontaneously, one after another, it is called swarasiki upasana. When performing bhajan in Vraj, only swarasiki upasana is present. In Vraj, wherever the sadhak goes, he has spurtis, momentary visions of Shri Krishna's eternally new pastimes. Beholding new spurtis everywhere he looks, he exclaims, "Oh, Shri Krishna performed this pastime here." And then he beholds another spurti, and he performed that pastime over there.
In an unbroken chain, Shri Krishna's pastimes are stirred up in his heart. Swarasiki Upasana is called Raganuga, or Lobhamayi Bhakti, bhakti imbued with intense hankering. All our Guru Varga are immersed solely in this mode of meditation. Sri Satyavrat Muni has prayed, Alaṁ lakṣa-lābhaiḥ. Millions of other attainments are of no use to me. While his prayers until this point have reflected the mood of someone absorbed in Vatsalya Ras, we should not mistake these words to mean that he rejects the attainment of something higher than Vatsalya Prem. Fortunately, however, if one obtains the association of one of Srimati Radhika's companions, her mood will enter his heart and cause him to implore Shri Krishna, "O Shri Krishna, if you are pleased with me and want to give me something," and then he'll submit this prayer. Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekara Smera Samurali Manohara Radhikara Sikamam Kripanide Swapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru. Shri Vittalacharya. O Sham Sundar, O beautiful dark boy with a peacock feather crown, your playful smile and your flute completely bewilder our minds. You are expert at tasting the nectar of Srimati Radhika's love, and you are an ocean of mercy. Please make me a maidservant of your beloved's lotus feet. When Shri Krishna is truly satisfied, he considers it his own success to bestow this benediction upon the sadhaks and sadhikas. This is how the process of Rupanuga bhajan gradually unfolds. We pray that the fruit of our bhajan will be that he gives us this topmost benediction. Thus ends the Dig-darśinī-vṛtti on the 5th verse. Jai Ho, my God, every chapter is just so juicy. Oh, Krishna, this is...
It's 8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock. Okay. All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Jaya Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Jaya Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Jaya Sachinanda, Sachinanda Jai Gora Hari Jaya Sachinanda Jai Gora Hari Sachinanda Jaya Gora Hari Jaya Rupa Raghunath Rupa Raghunath Rupa Raghunath Jaya Rupa Raghunath Jaya Rupa Raghunath Jaya Rupa Raghunath Rupa Raghunath Jaya Rupa Raghunath Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Dev Guru Dev Guru Dev Guru Dev Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada 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 Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol Shnitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Can I read something extra? I just, reading that part of, reading all those sections from this Dāmodarāṣṭakam, it just reminded me of this article of Śrīla Goswami Maharaj, Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Goswami Maharaj, and do you mind if I read it? You can go now if you want also, but I read it once quickly, and I want to read it again. And it's just, this evening, this very topic of what our acharyas spoke again and again from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur all over. He writes it again and again very clearly. It's not possible to misunderstand. And I don't know, somehow people misunderstand it. I don't know how. I guess we'll find out tonight. But all of our acharyas also, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur himself, and all our acharyas coming in his line, very clearly, Srila Prabhupada, or Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, all of our acharyas very clearly, again and again, establish this point. And it's not just like some side teaching, but it's a very core teaching that they give us. And so, and now this is going to be contended. And in public, like on a public forum, in front of all sorts of people who aren't already acquainted with all these teachings of our acharyas. And so this isn't our Vaishnava culture. This has never been seen in the history of our Gaudiya Vaishnavism, where somebody where there's a public debate within our own family, and somebody tries to establish a point strongly which is in opposition to what our acharya's teachings. And so maybe, I'm not sure if this is wrong of me to be using this platform to be talking about this, but it's a really serious thing. And anyways, I just, let me just try to find it. Just give me a second here. Wait a second, where is it? 1 second. Oops. Just wait 1 minute. Prem. Is this it? This might be it. Okay, I found it. Okay, let me share my screen. Let me put it in reader mode. This is from Śrīla Goswami Maharaj. Okay. Discovering the Self by Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Śrīdhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. Madhu Bindava. The Meaning of Sadhan Bhakti by Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Śrīdhar Goswami Dev Maharaj. Dev Goswami Maharaj, sorry. Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Śrīdhar Dev Goswami Maharaj is the foremost modern exponent on the conception of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the school of Śrīla Rupa Goswami. Subtle and profound, yet vivid and practical, his representation of both the broadest and deepest spiritual truths has and continues to fortify and nurture the faith of spiritual aspirants the world over. Okay, anyways, this is... Hey, I guess I can't have it in this reading mode. It only has... I'll just have to show it like this. Let me try to make the text bigger. Okay. Manodharma, the mental plane, is always changing. Buddhi loka, the plane of judiciousness, is more real and stable. Atma loka, the plane of the soul, is above that. And then Paramatma loka, the plane of the supersoul. According to our progress, we reach higher planes, and it is possible for us to live in them for a long time. Srila Sanātana Goswami has shown a gradation how the sadhak, how the practitioner, is taken to a particular place, lives there for some time, finds dissatisfaction, is again given some connection, and then taken to an upper layer. There, after some time, they again feel dissatisfaction. Some arrangement is made. Some higher connection reaches them, and they are taken to a higher plane. In this way, they are gradually taken up to Vrindavan through different positions, Vaikuntha, Ayodhya, and Dwarka, and then Vrindavan. They progress through Satyaloka, Shivaloka, and Vaikuntha Loka. The life of Gopakumar begins in a lower plane and gradually goes up to show the importance of the different planes. Student: I have a question about this. Gopakumar seems to display the same inner nature all throughout his journey. Even though he is going through different planes, he doesn't seem to change. He searches until he finds the plane in which he actually finds full satisfaction. His identity doesn't seem to be changing as he goes through the different planes. Gopakumar goes through the different places, but his inner nature is not affected. He always remains in his constitutional position as a Vrajvasi. Śrīla Śrīdhar Goswami Maharaj: Yes, our inner self is located there. If our inner self, by construction, is meant for Vraj, then our progress will be like that. Until we reach that realization, we cannot feel any satisfaction anywhere. Gopakumar cannot fully identify himself with the activities of any other plane. If one has one's innate nature in Vaikuntha, then one's journey will terminate in Vaikuntha. One will remain there satisfied. One will remain there satisfied. So it's according to our innate nature. That's where we'll find our satisfaction. The name, it's not by association. It's not by anything else. It's by our innate nature. Śrīla Śrīdhar Goswami is making this so clear. I don't know how you can misinterpret this. The name Gopakumar hints at this innermost tendency. Sanātana Goswami gave him the name Gopakumar to indicate that his innate nature is that of a gopa, a cowherd boy of Vraj. If one's innate nature is that of a Vaikuntha Vasi, a servant of Narayan, then one will go to Vaikuntha and remain satisfied there forever. Okay, it's according to the innate nature. There are things that we cannot see with our eyes, but can see with an X-ray. With subtle vision, the soul's inner nature can be seen. Is he a unit of Goloka? And a unit also of what group? In Goloka, but in Sakyaras? Madhuras? Where? Seeing his innate nature with X-ray vision, Sanātana Goswami has given him the name Gopakumar. The line of sadhan for one who is in one's self-determined stage and has the name Gopakumar will be like this. He won't be satisfied anywhere in any plane. Gradually, he will go there, and there his sadhan will be finished. The means to the end. The means will be finished there, and he will be satisfied there because he has come to his own plane, his own home. Gopa-kumar means he whose innate home is with the gopas. If one's nature is that of a servitor in Vaikuntha, then he'll stop in Vaikuntha. Hanuman, the monkey servitor of Ram, will stop in Ayodhya. His inner diagnosis is there. But one whose innate nature is that of a gopa won't be satisfied. Though he may be offered many things along on the way, he won't be satisfied as long as he cannot reach Vrindavan. It is all tasteless. Sometimes, for the time being, he tries to adjust with the environment, but he can't. He fails and feels dissatisfied. Again, a new thing is given to him, and he tries his best to accommodate it, given the circumstances and paraphernalia, but he can't. His inner tendency doesn't allow him to settle there permanently. He feels uneasiness and dissatisfaction. Then a higher plane, then the next higher plane, and then the next higher one. In this way, he won't be free or feel satisfied in any environment until and unless he reaches his own plane. Student: how is it that one develops this innate nature? Is it developed? Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj: it is not developed, it is discovered. It is discovered, it's not developed. Oh God, this is so clear. I don't see any possible way to misinterpret this. It's so clear. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhavasa sadhana vida nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakritam hridisadhyata. Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Purva Vibhag 2.2. Sadhan means to remove the covering, to discover what is already within. The innate nature is already within in a very germinal form. It is covered and inactive. Remove the cover and it will assert itself. Student: so that means that souls in the Brahmajyoti have an innate position? Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj: 1,000 times, look, 1,000 times that has been answered by me. Srila Sridhar Goswami says, he said this 1,000 times. Adaptability is there for both sides. How can a soul enter this mundane world from the Brahmajyoti? We have to consider the possibility, the adaptability there, an undetectable state of the soul. Only with the influence of the lower can the soul come to the with the influence of the lower can the soul come to the lower region, and only with the help of the higher can the soul go to the higher region. There is adaptability in the seed. You are to think out what it can be. Adaptability is there in the buffer state. Is for come to the lower region, then there's possibility that the soul can go to the higher one. By very minute observation, one can detect the hierarchy within the soul. Then it is caught that the soul's higher adaptability prospect is life in Vraj or Vaikuntha. In Vraj also, there are different rasas, and one may be present in a very subtle form, in an undetectable way within the soul. That is the sarup, that is the self. Without the sarup, how can we come down here from the undetectable position, that is Brahma Akshar? Kshara sarvani bhutani kutasto kshara uchyate. Srimad Bhagavad Gita 15:16. Akshara means kutasta, undetectable. Something like an unknowable position, so subtle but with possibility. Tatasta means the margin. There, the soul is not actively participating on any side, but has the possibility for participation on both sides. Such is the wonderful position from where the soul, the Tatashta Jiva, comes. Look, Srila Goswami even says, this question is a very impertinent one. It cannot be solved or conceived of very easily, but we are to adjust with it. It's an impertinent one. Even the question is impertinent. Let's see what the definition of impertinent is. It's not showing proper respect. It's a rude question. Formal. Not pertinent to a particular matter. It's irrelevant. And this, is it even possible to get more strong and clear on this issue? And this is what's being contested. And it's not just Śrīla Goswami. Śrīla Goswami says, he says this 1,000 times, and it's an impertinent question. And all of our acharyas say it's a very core teaching. And now this is, anyway, sorry, I'm Krishnera tatashta shakti bheda bhed prakash Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 20:108. The soul is the marginal energy of Krishna, a manifestation different and non-different from him. By conclusion, it comes like this. The soul is created with adaptability that is undetectable. So, it is there. This was spoken on 19 January. Hey, that's my birthday. It's spoken on 19 January 1982. And it goes on. The reference. Anyways, I'm going to just stop here. But, yeah. Let me stop sharing the screen. Oh, it looks like it's not even working, my internet. Anyways. I don't know how long it cut out for, but yeah. Sorry, did you hear any of that, or did it just cut out? There was 11 people before there, and now there's only 6. Anyways. If you want the link, let me just put the link here in case anybody wants to watch it. I'm going to just put it in the comments there if you want to read it on your own. Okay, you heard it. Yes, it's such an important point because this now I see in all sanghas now this idea is being spread around that no, we don't actually have an innate nature. We're just an empty shell with a sense of I. Where our soul is not actually meant to be, it has the potential to serve Krishna, but it's not actually there. It's just some kind of empty shell with a sense of I. And that this nature, our desire to serve Krishna, this mood of service, it's only given by Śrī Guru. It's not there existing, it's this empty container, and then it's given by Śrī Guru. And that guru will give whatever particular ras he wants to give you, and that's what you'll. There's nothing in us already, and this idea is starting to become so prominent. So many of my friends in ISKCON, some of them, even my god brothers, and I don't know about any of my god sisters, but some of my god brothers are even really thinking this, and it's completely against everything our acharyas have told us, And there's this misconception that, Śrīla Jiva Goswami said this, but you have to look more carefully and more deeply into Śrīla Jiva Goswami's teachings. And actually there's no contradiction from what Śrīla Jiva Goswami says and what Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur says and all of our acharyas say. Their words are fully in harmony, and both things are there. Yes, it is true that we have an eternal nature we have our innate nature, but it's not existing there physically. It's there as a potential, just like within a seed, there's a potential to grow in a particular kind of tree. A mango seed will become a mango tree. The potential is there. The mango tree isn't already there, but the potential is there. And the only way that seed will fulfill its purpose is by growing into a tree. Otherwise, it will never have fulfilled its purpose. And but for that to happen, we are fully dependent on the grace of Śrī Guru, on the grace of our acharyas. It's only by grace that this can develop, and that is the Bhakti-lata bij that is given. And what is that Bhakti-lata bij? It's that vasana to serve Krishna that is nourished by Śrī Guru, through Shravan and Kirtan, and through that, and he helps us water it. And then this seed begins to sprout and it grows up, and it's so clearly explained everywhere. But if people don't read carefully and they don't try to understand deeply and they just see it from their own perspective. See, we have to understand our Acharya's words from the perspective of our other Acharya's words. We can't understand Śrīla Jiva Goswami just with our own filter, like our own conceptions and stuff like that. Okay, let me figure this out. That's not our process. We're all about anugatya. And so we can understand Śrīla Jiva Goswami through Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We can understand Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur through our Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We can understand him through our Śrīla Gurudev. It's all anugatya. But if we try to approach it and we just read, the mood that we approach these songs, the mood that we approach scripture. It's not something that can be dominated with our intellect. By, oh yeah, I can figure this out with my own brain. Yeah, I know better. No, it's something that comes by grace. This transcendental knowledge, there's a process, and it comes through submissive praying, and it's revealed to you through Shri Guru. And so you can't just. Anyways, this whole culture that is our Gaudiya culture is now being challenged, and it's being very effectively challenged. It's amazing how this is happening, but also at the same time, I have to understand that we never know the desire of Krishna. Sometimes Krishna desires to cover the Dham. He desired to cover Mayapur. Mahaprabhu desired to cover Mayapur Dham. Sometimes our Gaudiya Vaishnav, since the time of Mahaprabhu till the present day, there's been 3 dark periods already. Like after the Goswamis, after Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. After Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, after, there's been 3 dark ages, and it feels like we're entering into another dark age, but I can't say, I don't know, I'm not gonna, but and this is all by the desire of Krishna, so it's not like, oh, well, I can come and defeat this, I have to understand my position, and also our Guru Varga doesn't need us to do anything for them, they don't need us to defend them, but sometimes we do get an opportunity for service, but anyways, so Anjali's asking who's contesting. Well, Sundar Gopal Prabhu, he made a presentation on September 18th showing how, and now this person named Padmanabha Swami, he's going to be going through Sundar Gopal's presentation and trying to contest each thing that Sundar Gopal said. And yeah. And also, but that's not just Padmanabha Swami, he's like one small person in this. But also Satyanarayan Das Babaji, he wrote, recently published a book called Jiva Tattva. Inside that book there's, I haven't read the book myself, but from what I heard from somebody else who's read it, there are 34 points of apasiddhanta that he says that Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur is culpable of, and this has been an issue actually even from in the 90s, which happened even in my Gurudev's own family, and people would leave my Gurudev's Sangha because of this issue. Even during Śrīla Bhakti's, from the time after Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's time, Ananta Vasudev and Sundarananda Vidya Vinod, they published a book, and of all the things where they say Śrīla Prabhupada is teaching apasiddhanta, and this was one of the points that they were pushing, this point, saying that so this is one of the things. This has been an issue for a long time, and so Sundar and many ISKCON devotees have been now, and my own Sangha, my own Gurudev's disciples, and all over, and other Sanghas also, people are starting to really subscribe to this idea that, oh yeah, no, bhakti isn't inherent in the soul, and no, it's just given by Shri Guru. There's nothing, and they don't understand that it's our nature, but it requires nurture also from Shri Guru. So it is both inherent within us and it is inherited. Both things are there, and so none of our and that's what Sundar Gopal's presentation. If you have a chance, actually, it'd be really good to watch it so that you can see it in context. Because I have a feeling, I don't know, but I have a feeling that he's going to take Sundar Gopal's words out of context, or only mention a part of Sundar Gopal's point, and then, well, we'll see. I can't, but I highly suggest watching it. It is long. It's broken, it was a 3-hour presentation, but it was broken into 3 parts, and so there's like 3 1-hour videos if you want to watch it. But Sanagopal is showing how our acharyas were all saying exactly the same thing, and even though it seems like it might be a contradiction, if you look carefully and you look closer, actually they're fully in harmony with each other, and it's both things are there. Both things are true. Anyways, I'm going on a total rant here. My God. I'll end now. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju ki Jai Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashitara Shatashmad Śrīla Bhakti-vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Śrīla Guru Deva ki Jai Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashitara Shatashmad Śrīla Bhakti-vedanta Vamana Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashitara Shatashmad Śrīla Bhakti-vedanta Swami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashitara Shatashmad Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashitara Shatashmad Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai Nitila Pravishta Mahabhagavat Śrīla Gokṣaras Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Nitila Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai Nitila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Śrī Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai Śrī Rup Sanātana Bhatta Raghunath Śrī Jiva Gopal Patadash Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu ki Jai Śrī Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Ramanandari Śrī Gopāśāda Vrinda ki Jai Namachay Śrīla āvirāstām Thakur ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदाता गिरिराज महाराज की जय श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय श्री भक्ति देवी की जय श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाय की जय श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय श्री कार्तिक व्रत नियम सेवा की जय उर्ज व्रत की जय उर्जेश्वरी श्री विश्वभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा ठाकुरानी की जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्रीनिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि गो श्री दामोदराष्टकम की जय श्री सत्यव्रत मुनि की जय श्रील गुरुदेव की जय श्रीनिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि गो श्रील सनातन गोस्वामी पाद की जय वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवशाचार्य कृष्ण भक्ति पददेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः वंशा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Dandavat pranams. Oh, and Prajumna Prabhu? Yes, okay. Yes. All right, see you all tomorrow. Jai Śrī Radhe. Sorry for going off on that whole thing. My mind's been fully in it. It's been a real anyways. And so, yeah. All right, Haribol.